I think I'm live. It's saying connecting, but I think I'm live. So I wanted to record me doing some of this work today, um, just so I can have a documentation of it, because this piece of artwork has really helped me process a lot of what is going on in my head and what is going on in the world. And I'd like to continue to share that in whatever way I can, because I know there's things in here that other people are supposed to see, that this is not just for me, that this is for lots of people. And we can't really move this, but there's lots going on. And I talked through it with a friend the other day and I felt like it wasn't done yet. I got called to erase it, or not erase it, but start a new one a week ago. But as I was describing what I was seeing in this to a friend, it doesn't feel like it's finished. So watch me as I do what I do and see if anything makes sense for you. This It's so funny because I feel some parts of it are really aggressive and some parts of it are really loving, and some of it is like, we have to do this. I Safety comes up, but that's not the right word. I keep hearing sturdiness too. And I just realized my buttons are discombobulated. Um, but I don't 100% know why it's not done yet, because I do have clarity around it. And okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. And this is why I need to do this as a hyperverbal autistic individual. I have to speak my things that are in my head, because then they don't actually feel real, or I can't work through that process. So doing lives, even if they make no sense to you guys, really helps me. And I will tell you, there's also a massive difference in energy between when I go live and when I just do this myself. Um, I do feel like I'm able to allow other energies to connect. And I'm realizing now it's not necessarily the people that are watching. I think it's almost like we're opening a portal when we do these things energetically. And when we almost, like, this is like creating another window, another portal. I did it again. Why can't I ever get this? This jacket is always wonky on me, but it's like my favorite thing on the face of the planet right now. It's again. Okay, that's the moon. Here we go. I'm like a 2-year-old trying to figure out how to dress myself. And it feels like that in here. I'll just tell you. I feel like I've opened myself up to this other, like, creative space, because I'm not judging my thoughts as much, because this, in the beginning felt, even when I was doing it, felt incredibly crazy lady. But now I've actually really kind of, I don't want to say honed the process, because this is the second year I've done a whole year long one of these. And there really is something to it. Like, I'm building on it and I'm showing up. And this is almost more of a ritual than any of my other rituals, because this is a continuation of all of my work. Everything that I see in ritual, everything that I feel in my dream work, in my spirit work, in my druidism, ends up here. And it creates this energy that is, I don't, it's not permanent, because a chalk drawing, but it's like a permanent place for me to keep my thoughts so I can come back to them and reconnect to that energy whenever I want to. And for me, as an autistic individual with ADHD and with autism who has a really hard time kind of organizing my thoughts and really even staying in a cycle or a pattern is really, really hard for me. So having this so big on the wall and something that I can't really ignore because it's right here has been incredibly helpful. And I know not everybody has room to do this, but you can find a way to do this that, one of the things that I do outside in my forest is I kind of like build they're altars, but they're places that I communicate with the forest, and I have several of them. And it's just a way for me when I come back to that, like I have one in one of the corners of my property that's just for the Tuatha Dé Danann, and I connect with my ancestors there, and I connect with that energy there. And it's a very different energy to the energy that I connect with at the front of the forest. And the altar that I have there and the energy that I communicate with there, it's very different. But each of those things are like these kind of like keystones or like kind of like the equinoxes for me. Um, and the solstices, they're just these things to come back to that are this repeatable pattern that can pull me back into my body, because when I'm here, I'm physical. I'm I'm moving and I'm painting, and a lot of the time I'm on my wobble board, just staring at the image, and it does something for me. It's a way of processing that I've created for myself that nobody said, "Hey, go do this," but it's so in tune with who I am because I created it. Because nobody said, "Hey, Emma, go and paint your one wall and then like start doing these sigil like drawings that help." No, like somebody just said, maybe do something creative for yourself. And then somebody else said, well, you do sigils for everybody else. Why are you not doing sigils for yourself? And I was like, you're right. Um, and every time I come down here, it creates movement in my life, especially if I go live, especially if I'm sharing my story with the world. Like, the more that I share what I see and hear, and the more that I feel safe in sharing that, like, it's a weird thing, but, like, I'm no longer really doubting because if any of you have followed me, you'll know some of my predictions from 5 years ago are starting to come true. Um, and that's kind of the confirmation I needed to just, like, carry on with this because I am seeing the things, and I am feeling the, like, big shifts in the collective, and I see them in enough time for me to be able to go, "Okay, let's get ready for this." And if you know anything about being autistic or ADHD, it sometimes takes us a really long time to process things. And, it's so funny because everybody's like, what? No, like you seem to be so far ahead of like, or you always seem to know what's coming. And I'm like, yeah, but that literally took me 5 years to process. So, like, I got all of this information 5 years ago. I saw what I was supposed to be doing, I saw what it was going to look like, but it took me this long to get here to be able to say, "Oh, this is like a whole way of being. It's my ritual. It's my, connection to the land. It's my ability to have done shadow work." And then it was my ability to know in my body that mushrooms were going to be the thing that was going to take me to the next thing. And I've shared a couple of stories recently about my experiences, first with functional mushrooms and then with psychedelics, and then like going and truly learning that information, becoming a psychedelic educator, going back to the University of Guelph and taking a neurobiology course, learning how that helped my brain. I integrated it into my life, and now I can stand here and say, I know what happened in my brain to have brought me here, where I can be totally okay with you seeing more of my true magic, of my true self, and not be afraid, and know that I can help so many more people do this work. Um, I'm still I've had this conversation last week of, like, where do I fit in this whole thing? And I really do know it's the integration piece. I've always been able to sit with people and somehow pull out of them the one thing. And it's the shadow work. Like, I essentially taught shadow work for the past decade, and that's how I was able to work with this medicine with such ease, because I knew what my shadows were. I knew what I was going into, and I knew that it was gonna be all okay, that I was safe and protected because the medicine showed up for me with such ease. And even getting into all of the courses that I've been doing, the psychedelics educator course that I got a scholarship for, and then the ACER integration course that I got a scholarship for. But also, the government is paying for these courses, which is just exactly what I asked for 5 years ago, that when I started down this path of, could I be supported? Please, if you need me to do this work, please let this work be supported. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been something that I, didn't have to fight for or really struggle even with my own family to say, yes, this is the thing that I want to do, because I see where this is headed, especially for divergent thinkers. And as an autistic person that wasn't embodied, that was in fight or flight all the time, that felt like I was losing my mind. Um, and I think I came to the very edge. I think I really did get to that point of, "Emma, if you step over this line, I don't think you're coming back." Um, and I'm gonna be really honest about the spiritual community, and I know that I have seen that happen in our community for the past decade, and I've watched time and time again people channeling unfettered spiritual information that is truthful and it has great information, but they weren't ready for it. So it crashed and burned. And I was one of those. Like, I was teaching something, my mediumship, and I was going down that path, but I didn't understand how to carry that energy. I didn't understand what I was actually truly channeling. It's all good, none of it was bad, but now I know how to work it through my body, and now I know how to weave and bob through my own cycle, the Earth's cycle, and this grander cycle that we're all a part of. I think I'm finally in the place to be ready to teach what I see, to honor what I have experienced for the past 50 years, because at the end of this month, I turn 50, and I know there's a purpose in this year for me. My astrology, like, if you're into astrology, February 27th, boys and girls. I was born before lunch to like 10, well, like 2 minutes to midnight, which is where we're on the doomsday clock, if you didn't know, 2 minutes to midnight. And I was born 2 minutes to lunch or something like that, 10 minutes to lunch. Um, this feels really important. It feels like a really important energy that we just stepped into, and I'm ready to be a part of it. I'm ready to honor my energy and know when, like, even now, like, I am friggin' exhausted, people. Um, but I'm doing this video because I know, I know things need to be said. So, I still don't know where I'm gonna share this, and I still don't know how, and I still don't necessarily have all the answers, but the answer that I got on the weekend when I sat down and did my kind of like I do this like yearly review and look at my embers. Like this is literally the time of the year where I am my most tired, my most vulnerable, my most like open I can possibly be. And it's like a little overwhelming. It's why I've been hiding. Um, from social media because I feel everything at this time of year, but the trees are my, protectors, and I'm staying in my forest and keeping my energy, like, in a good place. I'm trying not to let things pull me out of this space, but if they do, I forgive myself and I allow myself to come back to this. Yesterday, I had a very hard day, and I saw some things yesterday that I was like, "Nope, not choosing that one. We're gonna go right over this way." And I just was like, "Yeah, no, that's not a possibility in this lifetime for me. So we're not gonna do that." And today for me is all about envisioning what will work and what is coming because I know there's a big shift and it's gonna be great, but it's gonna be frightening. Um, and I can handle it. I'm now in this place of my nervous system is starting to regulate itself, um, and I don't have to use my medicine as much as I used to. So, I'm going to strengthen that with my meditation practice, with my movement practice, with being conscious of what I'm putting in my body and what is moving through my body. If you're kind of in the spiritual community, there's a lot of people talking about being in the light and allowing the light in our space, and one of the things that I'm doing that's a little bit different is I'm getting out of the way of the light. I'm not trying to like, hold on to it. I'm not trying to manipulate it. I'm not trying to, like, force it to do anything. I'm just allowing the light in my life. I'm making room for it, making space for it, doing the things that I know that bring that energy to me, and then all of the things that are a strain and an overwhelm right now, I'm just allowing it to show up and I'm saying, "Okay, we'll just deal with this and then we'll get back to the light." And I just it's kinda like, "Oh, yeah, that's really shitty." Like, my car needed, like, $2,000 worth of work a couple of weeks ago, and we're like, "Ah." But we're like, "Okay, but we do have the money. It makes everything else tight, but, like, we do have it. It's just gonna be a little bit uncomfortable." Instead of, like, my usual, like, "Woe is me, this is, like, gonna end miserably," no. I, like, just kinda went, "Okay, well, we can deal. We always deal. I know I always deal." Um, Freya just came over. She doesn't do this very often. She just came over for some love. Odie's usually the one. So, anyway, I wanted to just share a little update about what I'm doing and how I'm working through this energy and how I'm feeling with it. And just know that we're all in the meat grinder right now. February is going to be a really rough month energetically, but it can also, like, depending on how you use that energy or where you are at in your life and how you can use it, it could be fabulous, or it could just be like, "Oh god, let's just grin and bear this and get through it." So, I'm hoping for a little more light than I usually have, but I'm just open to receiving. And this is the part that I'm trying to embrace more, is this idea of restful receiving. So I'm going to go and have a bath before I really get into the channel. And I'm just going to open myself up. My body is really sore today. I'm right at the end of perimenopause, edging into menopause. And during a certain point in my cycle, everything is inflamed. Everything, like my knees are killing me. My hands are, I'm moving like a crickety old woman, but 2 days from now, I'm gonna be fine. It's just the hormones in my body are doing their thing. I'm trying to balance them out as much as I possibly can with my diet and my, supplements and my meds, but nothing is perfect. And that is one of the messages that I've been receiving over and over and over again is when you receive abundance, it's not going to be perfect. Like nobody is perfect. Like I receive abundance in such wild, wild ways. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you got another scholarship, or oh, hey, that bill doesn't have to be paid anymore, or oh, hey, and it's like, what is going on? It's not like my life is incredibly abundant, but it's getting easier. And it's like when we need there to be money, there is money. And that's one of the things that has been spoken about a lot in this month. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to end here. Um, that things that we have always dreamed of are going to start to physically manifest. So just pay attention to where your dreams at and what you're thinking about, and know that you can influence all of that. That you can ask for only dreams for the highest and best intentions, or hey, if you are like, no man, I'm ready to face the shadows, you can also be like, hey, I'm ready for it. Let's do this so we can get it over and done with and move into the joy spot. And then you just learn how to navigate that a little bit more every single time. Like these last 10 years, oh, I really feel like I've been through the ringer. Like it's just my body, my mind, everything is just overwhelmed. And I'm ready for rest. I'm ready for things to be in ease. I've done all that hard work. So now I'm just in this place of, okay, I'm ready. I got all the stuff. I know all the things. Now just woo. And that's honestly when I go and have my bath, I'm just going to be like, I'm where do you wanna take me and what do you wanna, show me? And honestly, everything that they've shown me in the last couple of weeks has been bloody magic. So and really achievable, doable things. So allow yourself to be in that space. And if you're not ready to be in that space, maybe look at some of the shadows that you are struggling with, which is like, that's this snake right here. So these are our shadows, and the sword is kind of like this razor's edge that we have to slowly creep along to not like completely destroy ourselves in the shadows. But when you find this cycle of life and this power within yourself, you can then integrate these ideas and through your own personal lens. Like there's so many ways that we can like integrate these things into our lives, and you'll start to see different ways to access that information to help yourself along. And like for me, it's been all of this. It's been everything that I've been doing for the past 3 years has really, I take some ideas from the spiritual world, I take some ideas from the scientific world, I channel a little bit, and I come up with something that totally works for me. And that's my next stage of life, is helping you find the way that helps you to get here. And I've got all sorts of suggestions and all ways to do it. You don't have to do it the way I did. And I actually highly recommend people don't do it the way I did it because it was a little bit cowboy. But that's okay. We need people like me in the world to do these things so we can get started on living this simpler life. So anywho, that's me. It's what I've been up to. It's what I've been working on. It's what I'm headed towards. I'm at such peace. Like yesterday was rough, but I'm at such peace today. And now that I know this ebb and flow is inevitable, I guess. Like, you have the bad, then you have the good, and you have the bad, and then you have the good. Um, so I know there'll be a couple of things this week where I'm like, or the dogs will run away or something silly like that. Now, knock on wood, they won't. But anywho, I'm gonna leave it there. Bye for now, wildlings. Go be wild, go be free, go live divergently. Just be you. Honestly, nobody knew that this is how I was going to solve all my brain problems, but I just listened to the whispers. Go listen, go be wild and free.